Hey guys, what is happening? Here I am with X Factor Volume 10 Wreaking Havoc. Just came out sometime in January, a couple weeks ago. So now I'm going to be busting through some one-off volumes here and there that are coming in new these last couple weeks. So right now, I'm reviewing X Factor Volume 10 Wreaking Havoc, covering 1995 to 1997. So this takes place right after the Age of Apocalypse, right after everything is restored back to normal. Xavier was not assassinated by Legion he was assassinated by his son, and then it's funny, I don't even remember what Age of Apocalypse really was. It was around the time that I was reading comic books, but I don't recall the specifics of how it reworked itself. Evidently, somebody had to have prevented Xavier's murder by his own son Legion, which negates everything that happened within the Age of Apocalypse. Let me know in comments if you guys recall Age of Apocalypse, because I don't remember. But I do know that a lot of characters stuck around after the Age of Apocalypse, like X-Man, Nate Gray, Dark Beast, Hank McCoy, the evil version of him. And so on and so forth. So this takes place right after that. Xavier is saved, X-Men Prime occurs, and some things here and there are occurring. Havoc, of course, which is why this is called Wreaking Havoc, is becoming more and more unstable with the use of his powers. He needs his suit, his black suit, to his inhibitor suit is what we would call it, the classic Havoc suit without the mask, the thing over his head. He eventually gets into a fight with Random, and Random, what do you call it? Dark Beast wants Havoc to make him something called a prelate summers. There's a new chick called Fatale, who's an assassin for Dark Beast, who is also a teleporting mutant. Polaris is in love with him, of course, and she is heartbroken when he disappears. She thinks he left her, but he's kidnapped. There's now new members of X Factor. Multiple Man is gone. Guido, the strong man, is gone. Wolfsbane is gone. Quicksilver is gone. Everybody's gone, basically. So now they've replaced them with Wild Child, Mystique, Shard, who is Bishop's sister. Actually, she's a holograph. Wild Child, who was with Alpha Flight in Canada. Eventually, they bring in Sabretooth, and it's like, why are we bringing in these villains to our team? Like, what the fuck? This is counterproductive to what we're doing as a group for the government. Turns out they're a mutant militia group now. Forge is now Forge has been with the team for a while now, since like 90 or issue 90 or 91 or 92, something like that. He replaced Val as the leader, but Val Cooper, she's still part of the team as a liaison. Now they moved out of their brownstone in Georgetown, and now they live in Forge's complex called Falls Edge, which is still in Virginia, but it's out in the mountains. And just a lot of things occur with Havoc, with who else? The Adversary. Forge has to deal with the Adversary, which he hadn't faced. Last time he faced the Adversary was during the Fall of the Mutants storyline back in the 80s. And then Roma. So Roma, Naze. I think that's how it is. It's Naze. I don't think it's Naze. So I call them Naze, but there's no accent mark over the E. Naze is the shaman teacher of Forge, and they're trying to get him to forego his technological weapons and focus on his mystic shaman powers to defeat the Adversary. Of course, he does eventually. Then it leads into Sabretooth and Mystique, and they're wild cards of the group because they were villains, and they're reformed, but not really, because every so often they're planning ways to stab everybody in the back, but they've been implanted with inhibitors. Like Mystique can't look like an X-Man for more than 30 seconds, otherwise she'll get a shock. Sabretooth wears a collar. The weird thing is that they have Sabretooth and Wild Child, who basically look alike. They're both similar people. And I don't know. Kyle Gibney, that's who Wild Child is in love with Shard, but Shard is a hologram. Shard is in the future also. So it's weird, but she's able to touch him and talk to him and communicate, which I don't understand. And then, of course, it takes place it takes place after Age of Apocalypse and right through into the Onslaught storyline. So Onslaught has a little bit of a thing there with them in 125, 126, 125 being a double-sized issue, because it's 125, it's an anniversary issue. And then they discover, of course, that Beast, the real Beast, is being held captive by Dark Beast. They go and find him and rescue him. There's just a big grand finale at the end where it involves Dark Beast, Fatal, Havoc now being brainwashed to attack X-Factor. Sabretooth can't be trusted, Mystique can't be trusted, but they show glimmers of helping X-Factor out. But of course, that's probably just they're gonna betray them at some point later on. So that's really what it is. It covers 112 to 126 of X-Factor. There's also the Sabretooth Mystique limited series, the 4-issue limited series, and Marvel Fanfare number 6. No annual, right? And X-Men Prime, yeah, number 1. Yeah, some good stories here and there. Howard Mackie takes over. Howard Mackie, who wrote Ghost Rider, takes over for John Francis Moore, who I guess went on to do X-Force. I don't know if that was his next gig, but I know he eventually does write with Adam Paulina. Adam Paulina did the pencils for X-Force. Howard Mackie takes over all the way straight through to the end of the series, I believe, to 149. I could be wrong. But I like Howard Mackie. Howard Mackie's a pretty decent writer. The Sabretooth Mystique limited series I didn't care for, really. I thought it was boring. I was going to say kind of boring, but I mean, it was fine, but I didn't get anything out of it. It's just they're on a mission, and it includes Hydra and AIM, and they're bad guys, but they're good guys because they're there with X-Factor, and I don't know. Just I didn't care for the villains. AIM is always boring. They had this Commander Cypher who's a chick, robot, and then there's Hydra has this dude named Catalyst, who apparently did some bad shit to Mystique and Destiny way back when, and Sabretooth too. And then it keeps jumping back and forth between the past and the present, and it just wasn't really all that interested. But maybe you guys would like it. I don't know. Yeah, X-Factor is a pretty decent enough book to, not up there with X-Men, of course, X-Men or Uncanny X-Men, but this is where it's now going to start rolling down to 149, which will be the last issue. I mean, the book itself, I think, lost its luster and nobody really cared. Nobody gave a damn about the book, but, it's pretty interesting having Mystique and Sabretooth on a team of good guys. And I mean, we know that they're not good, so why are they on this freaking team to begin with? What else can I say? What else happens? Let me see. I forget. Sometimes you read these books, and it's like you forget what you read at the first day. Adversary, Shard, Mystique and Sabretooth. All it was just the new members, the new team. 117 had Wild Child dealing with Aurora from Alpha Flight because she's a psychopath, and Puck and Northstar guest star and appear and help her out. I mean, I don't know. I wish I could say the stories were cool and mind blowing. I mean, they were good, but X-Factor's not really that interesting of a book. But we have Howard Mackie writing it, and we have who's doing the artwork. Jeff Matsuda, who actually is good. This is where we're getting a lot more Asian artists from Japan and China and all these people. I know later on there's Philip, what was his name? Philip Tan, and then that other guy named Tan, Jimmy Tan, I think his name was, and Kia Asamiya. Right towards the end of the 90s and early 2000s, there was just like this glut of Japanese artists from Japan coming. I think Jeff Matsuda is actually Japanese American, but I could be wrong. I usually am. But we're getting more American style writing with Asian influenced pencils, if that makes sense. Yeah, mid 90s, 95 to 97. It was cool because this is when I started collecting comic books, not necessarily X Factor, but X-Men, Uncanny X-Men. So I knew peripherally what was happening with X Factor and all the other X titles. But I recommend you guys check it out. Yeah, there's a little bit of Onslaught in here. The residual aftermath of Age of Apocalypse, because Dark Beast lingers around. Alex and Lorna break up. Alex pretty much leaves the team. He disappears with Random. Oh, I forgot about that. We discover Random has feelings for Polaris, but he's not what he appears to be. Apparently he was mutated by Dark Beast. The whole mishigas, if you will. All right, guys. But that's that. X Factor Volume 10, Wreaking Havoc, came out a couple weeks ago, so it should still be in your stores. Get it while you can. And let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like or don't like, whatever. But I hope you enjoyed, guys, and learned something from this. As always, guys, take care. Oh, next book. Let me tell you what my next book is. It's going to be Toy Soldiers, Volume 4 of X-Force. So I'm just going to bang out all the X titles, and then I'll probably move on to, I don't know, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 after this one, or maybe Marvel 2-in-1 Volume 3. Or if New Mutants Volume 4 comes out, or even Amazing Spider-Man Volume 11. I don't know. I've already put in the order for Fantastic Four Volume 11, which comes out tomorrow. 4 No More. So I should get that probably by next week. And I'll get New Mutants and Spider-Man tomorrow. So it's all coming in, guys. So this is the next book. X-Force Volume 4, Toy Soldiers, which also came out a couple weeks ago. Yeah, looking forward to it, guys. All right. Take care, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.